Greetings to all. Welcome back to online classes. It's me, Gayatri again. Today we are going to study lesson 3, Early Tamil Society and Culture. Early Tamil Society and Culture. Before that, you have to see the previous classes. In the previous classes, we studied the second lesson, that is ancient civilizations. Egyptian civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, Chinese civilization, Indus Valley civilization also. I hope you studied all the question answers from that lesson and you prepared nicely for the examination. Okay, and today's lesson, that is early Tamil society and culture, we are going to learn a lot of things. Okay, this Tamil civilization begins 3 centuries before the Common Era. 3 centuries before the Common Era. Tamil traders and sailors made commercial contact and cultural relations across the seas. Commercial contacts and cultural relations across the seas. Merchants from foreign territories visited our Tamilagam. Okay, merchants from foreign territories visited our Tamilagam. Towns and ports emerged. Towns as well as ports emerged. Coins and currency were circulated. Coins as well as currency were circulated. And many written documents were produced. Many written documents were produced. Tamil Brahmi script was followed to write Tamil language. Okay, Tamil Brahmi script was followed to write Tamil language. Classical Tamil poems were composed. Classical Tamil poems were composed. Now we will see sources for the study of early Tamil society. Sources for the study of early Tamil society. Many sources were there, but we are going to study only little. First one, classical Tamil literature. Classical Tamil literature. Second one is epigraphy. Epigraphy means study of inscriptions. Epigraphy means what? Study of inscriptions. Third one is archaeological excavations and material culture. Archaeological excavation and material culture. Non-Tamil literature and foreign literature. Non-Tamil literature and foreign literature. Like this four. So these are the sources for the study of study of early Tamil society. Sources for the study of early Tamil society. Okay. Sources for the study of early Tamil society. The classical Sangam literature consists of Tolkapiyam, 11 மேல் கணக்கு, 11 கீழ் கணக்கு and 5 epics. Okay, so Tolkapiyam, 11 மேல் கணக்கு, 11 கீழ் கணக்கு and 5 epics. Tolkapiyam was written by Tolkapier, you know very nicely. Okay, and it is the earliest written work on Tamil grammar. Tamil grammar, grammatical work, earliest written work. Okay, and 11 மேல் கணக்கு include 10 பாட்டு and 8 தொகை. 11 மேல் கணக்கு include 10 பாட்டு and 8 தொகை. 10 பாட்டு, that is a Tamil word only, it has 10 songs. 10 பாட்டு has 10 songs. First one, திருமுருகாற்றுப்படை, பொருநர் ஆற்றுப்படை, சிறுபான் ஆற்றுப்படை, பெரும்பான் ஆற்றுப்படை, முல்லை பாட்டு, நெடுநல் வாடை, மதுரை காஞ்சி, குறிஞ்சி பாட்டு, பட்டினப்பாலை, மலைப்படு கடா. Okay, 10 songs. One more time. திருமுருகாற்றுப்படை, பொருநர் ஆற்றுப்படை, பெரும்பான் ஆற்றுப்படை, சிறுபான் ஆற்றுப்படை, முல்லை பாட்டு, நெடுநல் வாடை, மதுரை காஞ்சி, குறிஞ்சி பாட்டு, பட்டினப்பாலை and மலைப்படு கடா. Totally 10 songs. Like that we can see 8 தொகை. 8 தொகை, 8. Understand? 8. நற்றிணை, குறுந்தொகை, பரிபாடல், பதிற்றுப்பத்து, ஐங்குறுநூறு, கலித்தொகை, அகநானூறு, புறநானூறு. Okay, one more time. நற்றிணை, குறுந்தொகை, பரிபாடல், பதிற்றுப்பத்து, ஐங்குறுநூறு, கலித்தொகை, அகநானூறு, புறநானூறு. Okay, totally 8. 11 கீழ் கணக்கு has 18 texts. பதினெண் கீழ்கணக்கு has 18 texts. And the preeminent was Tirukural. Understand? Preeminent was Tirukural. Tirukural was written by Tiruvalluvar and it has 1330 couplets. Okay, 1330 couplets. Next we will see the 5 epics. Epics means Kappiyam. Kappiyam is a Tamil word only. Epics means what? A Kappiyam. The epics are Silappadigaram, Manimegalai, Jeevaka Chintamani, Palayavadi, Kundalagesi. Okay, what are the 5 epics? Silappadigaram, Manimegalai, Jeevaka Chintamani, Palayavadi and Kundalagesi. Next we will see epigraphy. Epigraphy is the study of inscriptions. Okay, study of inscriptions is known as what? Epigraphy. Inscriptions are documents. Understand? Inscriptions are documents scripted on stone, copper plates and the coins. Okay, stone, copper plates and also coins. Tamil Brahmi inscriptions. What is that? Tamil Brahmi inscriptions have been found in more than 30 sites in Tamil Nadu. Okay, more than 30 sites in Tamil Nadu. Mostly on cave surfaces. Mostly on caves, cave surfaces. In these caves, Jain monks lived. Buddhism, Jainism is there, no? So Jain monks lived. And the natural caves were converted into residences. Natural caves were converted into residences. The region have smooth stone beds. Smooth stone beds were there that is carved on rock surfaces. That is carved on rock surfaces. Okay. From this we can understand that the Jain monks lived a simple life. Okay, very simple life was there. We can see Tamil Brahmi inscriptions in the caves of Mankulam. And its next one is Muttupatti. Mangulam, Muttupatti. Third one is Pugalur. Fourth one Arachalur. Okay, Arachalur. And the last one is Konkan Puliyan Kulam. Okay, Konkan Puliyan Kulam. So first one Mangulam, Muttupatti, Pugalur, Arachalur, Konkan Puliyan Kulam. Okay, around Madurai also we can see the caves with Tamil Brahmi inscriptions. Now next one is hero stones. Hero stones are memorials. Hero stones are what? Memorials. These stones are erected for the people, those who lost their lives in the battlefield or during the time of a cattle raid. Okay, during the time of this cattle raid. During Sangam age, Mullai people, the people, those who lived in the Mullai region, followed a pastoral way of life. You know what is pastoralism. Okay, and the tribal chieftains plundered the cattle of the enemies. Regarding this, many warriors died. Okay, regarding this, many warriors died, and they were remembered as martyr. They were remembered as what? Martyr. Memorial stones were erected for their honor. Memorial stones were erected for their honor. Hero stones of Sangam age can be found in Puliman Kombai, name of a place. Puliman Kombai. Okay, what is that? Puliman Kombai. And Tatapatti in Theni district. Okay, Tatapatti in Theni district. Hero stones of post Sangam age and Pallava period occur in Chengam. Okay, Chengam region near Tiruvannamalai district. Okay, what is that? Hero stones of post Sangam age and Pallava period occur in Chengam. Okay, Chengam nearby this Tiruvannamalai district. Next, inscriptions. Pottery vessels. What is that? Pottery vessels from early historic period. Pottery vessels of early historic period have names of the people with the Brahmi script. And potsherds have been discovered. Potsherds have been discovered in Arikamedu, Alagankulam, Kodumanal, Keeladi. Totally 4 places. Arikamedu, Alagankulam, Kodumanal and Keeladi. Okay, you can find. And other sides of Tamil Nadu also. People wrote their names on pottery with the Tamil Brahmi language. Tamil language and Prakrit language. Tamil language as well as the Prakrit language. Prakrit was a language that was used by the common people in the northern part of India during the period of Mauryas. That means when Mauryans ruled India, this Prakrit language was there, and the common people of the northern part of India, they used this Prakrit language. Okay. Now we will see archaeological sites. Okay. Before that, what is archaeological excavation? Archaeological excavation means digging a site or digging a region to recover material evidence. To recover material evidence for exploring and interpreting the past. For exploring and interpreting the past. Here, excavations at Arikkamedu, Alagankulam, Urayur, Kanchipuram, Kaveri Pumpattinam, Korkai, Vasavasamudram, Keeladi, Kodumanal in Tamil Nadu and Pattanam in Kerala. See the places one more time. Arikkamedu, Alagankulam, Urayur, Kanchipuram, Kaveri Pumpattinam, Korkai, Vasavasamudram, Keeladi, Kodumanal in Tamil Nadu and Pattanam in Kerala provides a lot of evidence for the lifestyle of the people of Sangam age. Okay, lifestyle of the people of Sangam age we can find out with the help of the excavations in different places. Arikkamedu near Puducherry is a Sangam age port. Arikkamedu, that is located near Puducherry, it is a Sangam age port. It was excavated by Archaeological Survey of India, ASI. In the first class itself we studied Archaeological Survey of India. The British archaeologist, his name was Sir Robert Eric Mortimer Wheeler, French archaeologist J.M. Castle, Indian archaeologist, two Indian archaeologists were there. First one A, capital A, that is the initial Ghosh. Understand? A Ghosh, and the second person was Krishna Deva. They excavated this site. So British archaeologist, French archaeologist, and the Indian archaeologists, they also excavated. They found evidence of a planned town, warehouse, streets, tanks and also ring wells. What are the things? Warehouse, streets, tanks and ring wells. Archaeological Survey of India, ASI, Archaeological Survey of India, is a central government agency. It is a central government agency. It manages archaeological sites and monuments in India. Archaeological sites and monuments of India were managed by this Archaeological Survey of India. Now, the government of Tamil Nadu, our government of Tamil Nadu has its own department. Tamil Nadu has its own department for archaeology. That is known as Tamil Nadu State Department of Archaeology. Tamil Nadu State Department of Archaeology. The Indian Treasure Trove Act. Indian Treasure Trove Act of 1878. Another one act is also there, that is the Antiquities and Art Treasuries Act. Okay, Art Treasuries Act, that is 1972, or the legislations to preserve archaeological remains in India. What's the use of that? To preserve archaeological remains in India. Next one is material culture. Next one, what is material culture? Archaeologists have found evidence of brick structures, artifacts such as beds, bangles and cameos. See the spelling cameos. Cameos means these ornaments made of precious stones. Ornaments made of precious stones is known as what? Cameos. And also many other things. Evidence of art and craft. Evidence of art and craft help us to reconstruct the way of life of the people. So art as well as craft help us to the living way of the people. Understand? From this we can get a clear idea that how the people might have lived in those days. Okay, how the people might have lived in those days. Next we will see about the coins. Coins were considered as a medium of exchange. Okay, medium of exchange. Coins were introduced for the first time in Sangam age. In Sangam age only coins were used for the first time. The coins of Cheras, Cholas and Pandyas. Cheras, Cholas as well as Pandyas. And punch marked coins. What is that? Punch marked coins. And Roman coins are the important source of evidence from Sangam age. Okay, from Sangam age. Next, punch marked coins have been found in Kodumanal and Bodinayakanur. Punch marked coins. They are present in where? Kodumanal and Bodinayakanur. Roman coins, that Roman coins are found in Alagankulam, Karur and Madurai. Alagankulam, Karur and also Madurai. Panchamarta coins are the earliest coins used in India. Panchamarta coins are the earliest coins used in India. They are made of silver and have numerous symbols punched on them. Okay, numerous symbols were punched on them. So they were called as what? Panchamarta coins. Okay, the coins are made of silver and there were numerous symbols punched on them. So these coins were known as what? Panchamarta coins. Next we will see non-Tamil sources. Non-Tamil sources is otherwise known as foreign accounts. Okay, foreign accounts. With the help of these sources, we can get the information about the conduct and the interaction of the early Tamil society in the outer world. Okay, conduct and the interaction of the early Tamil society with the outer world. Next, Artha Sastra. Arthashastra is a classical work written by Chanakya. He has another name also, that is Kaudilya, and he lived during Mauryan period, and the book, it is very helpful and it is explained the administration and the economic condition also. Next one is Mahavamsa. What is it? Mahavamsa is a Sri Lankan Buddhist chronicle. Mahavamsa is a Sri Lankan Buddhist chronicle. Chronicle here means text. It was composed in Pali language. Understand? It was composed in Pali language. It mentions the merchants and horse traders from Tamil Nadu and South India. About trade and these horse traders and merchants from Tamil Nadu and South India. Next one is Periplus of Erythraean Sea. Understand? Periplus of Erythraean Sea. And it is an ancient chronicle. It is an ancient Greek text, like that we can say. Its author is not known. That is, we don't know about the author of this text. The term Periplus means navigational guide. Periplus means what? A navigational guide used by sailors. Navigational guide used by the sailors. Erythraean Sea refers to the waters around the Red Sea. Waters around the Red Sea is known as what? Erythraean Sea. This book explains about the Sangam ports of Mussoorie, Tondi, Korkai and Kumari. What are the four ports? Mussoorie, Tondi, Korkai and Kumari. It also tells about the Cheras and Pandyas. Cheras and Pandyas. Next one, Pliny's natural history. Pliny's natural history. Pliny the Elder wrote the natural history. Pliny the Elder wrote the natural history. He was a Roman. He was from Rome. It was written in Pali language. Pliny's natural history was written in Pali language. It explains about the natural wealth of the Roman Empire. Natural wealth of the Roman Empire. Pliny speaks about the pepper trade with India. Pliny speaks about the pepper trade with India. He said that it took 40 days. Understand? It took 40 days to reach India from the port. What's the name of the port? Austerlitz port. Osalis port is near East Africa. So it took 40 days to move from India to Osalis port. Okay, if the southwest monsoon is favorable, if the southwest monsoon is favorable, only 40 days enough to move from this India to Osalis port or Osalis port to India. Next we will see Ptolemy's geography. Ptolemy's geography. It is considered an atlas of the Roman times. Atlas of the Roman times. It provides geographical information or details of the Roman Empire in the 2nd century AD. Okay, 2nd century AD, the Romans lived about their geography. We know with the help of whom? Ptolemy's geography. Kaveri Pumbatiram, Mosiri, Kanyakumari, Korkai are some of the places mentioned in this book. So, Kaveri Pumbatiram, Korkai, Mosiri and Kanyakumari are some of the places mentioned in this book. Next one is a Peutingerian table. Peutingerian table. It explains the map of the Roman roads. It explains the map of the Roman roads. It shows the areas of ancient Tamilagam and port of Mussiri. Ancient Tamilagam and port of Mussiri. Then Vienna Papyrus, you know what is papyrus? Here Vienna Papyrus. It is a Greek document. Vienna Papyrus is a Greek document. It is the Papyrus Museum attached in the Austrian National Library. Papyrus Museum attached in the Austrian National Library. It is a written document between traders. It mentioned the name of a ship. It mentioned the name of one ship. It is known as Hermopolis. Hermopolis. And the list of articles such as pepper and ivory that were exported from India to Rome. It is exported from India to Rome. Okay, children, with this I finished today's session. I'll meet you in the next class. I believed everybody liked my class, and again I'll meet you in the next class with the Sangam age. Okay.